Hey, my friends, I just wanted to put this out. I've changed the schedule slightly because Christmas is coming up, and I thought it would be really nice to have something that is very simple, very easy to do, but in moments of a little bit of stress, a little bit of anxiety, which happens over this wonderful period of the year, would be just a wonderful little tool for you to use to be able to just go, So, that's why I've put this episode out just now. So, have a wonderful Christmas. If you listen to this at Christmas, obviously. But do practice what comes through in this episode during the week. And maybe then make it a habit, because it'll be a good habit. Not going to tell you any more. Here's the intro now. Hey, we've got somebody who not only talks a talk, not only walks a walk, but actually runs a run. What does that mean? Well, he's on a mission to reach 1 billion people with his message. And he's also going to run 25,000 miles, 40,075 kilometres, the circumference of this little old planet Earth, to make a difference. And he's got a couple of things for us to, letting go of anxiety and dealing with fear and becoming present in the moment. All the stuff that we do here. If that's important to you and of interest, have a listen after this. Hey, this is the Personal Development Unplugged podcast, where we use hypnosis. Yeah, hypnosis. NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Don't worry what it is. It's just a mass of processes that we're going to get you to change. Change to let go of anxiety, low self-esteem, and create massive supreme inner confidence. But that's confidence in your competence and competence in your confidence, which means you can do anything and be safe, to enjoy the world as it should be, with you at the helm, creating the life that you want. That's what this podcast is about. You, and being the best you could be, singing from your real voice, aligned with your mission, aligned with your passions. That's what it's about. So if you're interested in letting go of anxiety, if you're interested in letting go of fear, guilt, all those blooming syndromes, imposter syndromes, and every little bit of the mind which is negative, then have a listen here, because we've got some wonderful processes and lots of good conversations between you and me to get us both thinking in such wonderful ways. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Just take the chance to have a listen.
This is Personal Development Unplugged with Paul Clough.
In simplicity, there is genius.
In simplicity, there is genius.
Hey, my friends, we've got a new thing today. Longer podcast. And I'm so pleased that we've had another guest who's asked to be on the show to contribute, to help us with our personal development. And it's another person who doesn't just talk the talk, but has actually walked the walk. And this person actually runs a run. And I'll explain that in a minute. I'm so pleased that when we view things from a different perspective, and we still come back to the way that the philosophy, the core of Personal Development Unplugged, seems to be on the right way, the right path, the right message. It's coming from a good place. You see, this guy, I'm going to read some of his bio, because you're going to be so impressed. His name is Tom, but it's Tomasz with a Z, Drybala. Great name, isn't it? Great name. And I'm going to read you his bio. And his bio says, I'm a keynote speaker, mindful movement teacher, extreme runner, author of the book Flow Up, Get Rid of Anxiety, Stress and Overwhelm and Unlock Focus, Creativity and Joy. That's a hell of a title, isn't it? He teaches mindful movement to get from anxiety, stress, overwhelm caused by unhealed traumas to the state of flow, live and work in the zone, and unlock focus, creativity and joy. Now, isn't that just what we do here? Different words, different perspective, coming from that's just a different view from a different training, I guess. But it's so aligned. We're running parallel. But here's the kicker. His ultra challenges consist of 5 million steps in 101 days. Can you believe that? 5 million steps. Running 11,000 kilometers unsupported through Asia. And on September the 30th this year, this is 2022, I started running the circumference of the Earth, 40,075 kilometers, nearly 25,000 miles. He's going to run it for 40 months across 4 continents, 22 countries, conducting over 400 events, building trauma-informed communities, raising funds for UNICEF, promoting his book, and participating in research led by a leading UK sports scientist. Isn't that bloody awesome? So awesome. And he wanted to come on our show. So what could we say but if you're going to run the run, we'll have you on. And he did. No questions. He just stepped up and did the work. Now, it's quite short, so you really need to listen. But I like to, before I would comment if I didn't agree with some of these things, but I like to model them first, because that's coming from my NLP background. I like to model a process to understand what it does. What is the strategy, as it were, in the process, to understand how it works, if you can make it better, because that's what I like to do. Can I make it simpler? And just, do I get it? And I get this. And it comes in a form of anchoring, I guess. There's some triggering and some responses, trigger and response. There's reframing the response you get. And that's what we do, isn't it? It's like, not that, but this. And when you can get your unconscious mind to change from not that to this, which is like the swish pattern, I guess, in NLP, certainly anchoring, collapsing of anchoring, or collapsing of anchors, they all work. And so within what Tom describes these lovely 2 exercises that he does, it just works. So I know it works. And Tom says they're silly, but they're not silly. I've changed and reframed his word silly to simple, because it's the mainframe, I guess, of one of our core beliefs. In simplicity, there's genius, from the wonderful Albert Einstein. And that's what we do, break down the complicated into the simples. And so what you'll hear is the things that we talk about here, the things that we do, but looking at it from a different perspective, with a different terminology, but getting the same responses or the same answers and the same results. And that means Tom's on the right path and we're on the right path, because we both are getting the results with different, with similar processes, but just coming from it from a different perspective, a different angle. Maybe when you look at a meta view of it, you'll see, well, they are the same, or so similar to be the same. So I 100% endorse these exercises that Tom is going to share with us. And I want to thank him for just being there, for doing this. And, well, here's Tom now. Have a listen and just enjoy.
We can't be 100% free of anxiety, but I truly and strongly believe that we can turn it into our advantage. Anxiety is the body's natural response to our fear. If you have anxiety, your fear and worry trigger the fight or flight response, activating your sympathetic nervous system, which controls breathing and heart rate. This activation leads the body to release stress hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol, contributing to anxiety's physical symptoms. Feeling anxiety is natural human biology, and if you accept it and don't resist it, anxiety loses its power over you. You can learn how to recognize when your body responds to daily stresses with feeling of anxiety. Then you can take its power back and anxiety will no longer drive your life. In my experience, as soon as you acknowledge and accept it, anxiety disappears. And if you treat the anxiety as a learning point for your personal growth, then you know in which areas of your life you feel anxiety and on what you need to focus to get your power back. I can teach you 2 very simple mindful movement exercises to deal with the anxiety. Anxiety will run tension through the body and impact different muscles. For every person, it can be something different. Some people may feel the anxiety in neck, in knee, or in jaw, chest, or in stomach. For me, for example, for the first 40 years of my life, I always felt anxiety inside my belly. I felt like I have a clenched fist inside my belly, which was always holding me. Sometimes it was releasing, sometimes it was squeezing me inside stronger, but it was always holding me. There is no specific area, wherever the brain sends the nerve signal. Research shows that our minds can create real and measurable changes in the body, but this is also working the other way around. We can harness the power of the body to heal the mind. Research shows that we can become better when we believe we will be better. This is the power of belief. When our body expects to get better, it sends messages to start the healing process, and hormones, neurochemicals, and immune cells are released. So next time when you feel anxiety, I want you to implement a very simple mindfulness exercise. Mindfulness is about accepting what is here right now as best as we can, including pain or feeling of anxiety. If we accept it, we can release tension and be more responsive to what happens next. So in the first exercise, I want you to use anxiety as a trigger for practicing gratefulness and implement those 3 very simple steps when you feel it. So step number 1, acknowledge and observe without judgment. So next time when you feel physical pain or anxiety, whether it's that clenched fist in your stomach, a chest pain, pain in neck or jaw, etc., instead of getting nervous about it and upset or resisting the pain and pretending that it's not existing, acknowledge your pain. Say in your mind, okay, I feel pain in my chest caused by anxiety, and I will watch it for a bit and try to recognize if it's indicating injury. So don't judge it. Acknowledge your pain and observe it. Don't dwell on it. Don't try to find the answer of why you feel it. Look at it with curiosity and try to learn from your pain. Step number 2, accept the pain. Accept the anxiety. So say in your mind to yourself, okay, it's normal, it's human biology. I did have a stressful day, or I will have a stressful day tomorrow, and I may feel a bit of pain and anxiety. And step number 3, assign pain as a trigger for gratitude. So each time when you feel pain or anxiety, think about 3 things that happened today that you are grateful for. This could be, for example, I'm grateful that I have a delicious cup of coffee this morning. I'm grateful that I see that beautiful tree in front of me. I'm grateful there is so green around me. So look for very simple things to be grateful for. Each time when you feel pain or anxiety, repeat the same exercise and think about the 3 new things that you are grateful for. In most cases, anxiety will disappear as soon as you accept it. What is actually happening here is that you rewrite that negative script and train your mind to look for positive patterns each time when you feel anxiety or pain. In the second exercise, we will use environment anchor as a trigger for being in the present moment. Not many of our anxieties are about right here and right now. They are usually those bad things which happened to us in the past, and we want to avoid them to happen again, or those, bad things which we think that may happen to us in the future. So this exercise will train your brain to exist in here and now, and it will also improve your focus. So I want you to go for a run or a walk outside, no matter if it's in nature, in a park, or in the middle of the city. And choose one thing from your environment to focus on. For example, the color orange, as this is a vibrant color that draws attention. You can choose any color you wish and look for all variation of this color. Make sure you choose something, that is not too common where you are. Maybe not green, blue, or brown, because they are everywhere outside. So every time you notice an orange color, say in your mind, orange. If you can't see anything orange, look for a similar color like amber or yellow. You may say, what a silly exercise. There's no many colors, red, orange colors in my area, but if you go practice it, you will be surprised. Cars, people, clothes, road workers, shop fronts, building, graffiti, chairs, tables, doors, boats, signs. Orange color is everywhere, we just don't pay attention to it. Don't be too hard on yourself if you lose your focus, as this is exactly what I expect to happen. Don't try to change anything, just be aware and accept that your mind lost focus. If your mind drifts away, and it will, simply acknowledge it, label it by saying to yourself quietly, thinking. Then bring your attention back to present moment and noticing the orange color. The key is to not expect too much from yourself. Don't try to look for the orange color and don't judge yourself if you don't see it. Just simply acknowledge it when you see it. Once you spend some time noticing and acknowledging that orange color and accepting it in non-judgmental way, you will start feeling natural relaxation of your body and mind. So let me give you an example of how I use this exercise in my daily life, and when I needed to be mostly focused and calm. Over time and with practice, the orange color has become my trigger, but this time the positive one, because I assigned it to the present moment and because and become more conscious of what is happening here and now. And now when I have a bit more anxious or stressed days because, for example, of the public speaking, or I have an important meeting, throughout the day, whatever I do, I keep noticing things with the orange color, which calms me down, brings me back to the present moment, and allows me to stop worrying and focus on the task at hand. And in most cases, I'm often getting into the state of flow when I'm practicing those 2 exercises. So you have to remember that mindfulness is a practice, and this means you have to practice it to get results. You can notice first differences in the way how you feel between the first few days, but if you want that change to stay with you, if you don't want to back very quickly to old patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving, you need to make it a regular practice. So try those 2 exercises, give it a go, and open yourself for the new experiences and for the better results in your personal development.
Well, I told you, it was short, but it was short and sweet, wasn't it? So before we just take this in, it's all very well for me to say that, I know they work. Well, let's just break those processes down just a little bit in my terminology, in my way, because we talk about acknowledging an issue, acknowledging an emotion. I know Tom says accepting it, but I like to turn that and reframe that into acknowledging it. I don't like accepting these things, but you acknowledge it. And because when you're acknowledging what is happening, you're not fighting it. You're not trying to push it away, because when you try to push this stress, this trauma, your unconscious mind tends to push it a little bit harder because it's trying to do something for you with that wonderful positive intent, but you just hadn't learned yet. So I love the fact that we are acknowledging, and in that acknowledgement, we get to be grateful. Gratefulness and being in the present moment. Isn't that great? Because there's something to learn here. And it's your unconscious mind, in my view anyway. Your unconscious mind, your best friend, doing something for us. Maybe not in the way that we'd like to feel it, but it just hasn't learned yet. And when it learns, it will let it go, and we've got processes for that. But just as I said, once you acknowledge it, be with it, things will change. And when, as Tom does, he changes things. If you change your physiology, as we know, your state will change. And your state will change, and it will change the internal representation, those pictures you make in your mind. And that will then everything will change. Change one, change all. We've talked about that. That link between the pictures you make in your mind, your internal state, and your physiology. Change any one of those. And that's in that process. And I think when you can get to gratefulness, it really puts you into the moment, doesn't it? It really does. Because if you think about it, and I'm sure I've spoken about this before, but if you think about it, try it now. Think of a happy time, be happy, and try to think of a sad time at the same time. You can't. It's one or the other, isn't it? But when you get to be grateful, and I think that's such a lovely feeling to have, when you can be truly, genuinely, honestly grateful, you become in the moment. And when you're in the moment, nothing exists other than you right now. And when you think about it, nothing really does exist other than you right now. The words I've just said, they've now gone in the past. The words I'm going to say, they're coming into the now shortly. But right now, it's just you and me and Tom. The other thing, and I thought it was so good, you see, we're anchoring, triggering response, the colour of orange for Tom, triggering that feeling of being in the present. So he's taking it and now not only just being grateful for his surroundings, he's actually using a particular thing to fire off the feeling of being present. It's a visual anchor. And I know, and you know, that when you do that enough times, it becomes an unconscious habit. I think the word is habituates. And so, unbeknown to you, in your peripheral vision, there could be some orange, and you just feel, as Tom would, he would start to feel at peace without even consciously looking for it. Because that's what happens with anchoring. You set it off consciously, you set it, you'd fire it, but after a time, that trigger becomes just a lovely unconscious habit, because it works in reverse, doesn't it? See something you don't like, feels that pain. See something you don't like, feel that pain. See something you don't like or hear something which is sad in the background, you don't know why, your unconscious mind picks it up and fires off those old feelings. Well, we're doing the exact same process, but doing it for a positive reason now for ourselves, to feel good. Because when you're feeling present, as I said, when you're feeling present, you're in the now. Things of the past are no longer here because you're in the now. Worries of the future don't exist because you're in the now, because you're feeling being present. And the thing I love about this is, and as I was saying, as you go around in your peripheral vision are picking up these things, we're generalizing this thing. Because that's what happens with problems. You have a little problem, a specific problem, and over time, it begins to generalize into different areas of our life, different contexts. So what we're doing now is taking these positive ways, I call them positive, but we're just changing it into a feeling that we like, that makes us feel safe. And when we're safe and we're feeling comfortable and feeling present, it's a healthier way to be. Your body will heal if it needs healing, but it's in its best shape and form right then. And what happens is we're now generalizing that. So I guess, this is my bet anyway, once you start feeling in the present moment and feeling at peace, we'll start to move into different areas of your life. So, little tinges, because your unconscious mind will go, well, I know orange isn't here, but this would be a good strategy to feel at peace, being present, feeling grateful. And then when you review that, and you review it, we talk about review it, and it's the hardest thing to do, to remember, because this is like becomes a new norm. When you review this stuff, maybe at the weekend, or even at the night, just before you go to sleep, you review, what happened in the day? And you just become grateful again from what you did in the day and what you and your unconscious mind, your conscious mind and your unconscious mind did together in alignment. And just thank your unconscious mind then for allowing you to be comfortable, which means safe. Because then your unconscious mind can start thinking, well, I wonder how we could use this instead of fear, instead of anxiety. And then you get more confidence. Your self-esteem starts to grow. And then you can start living the life you really want because you've learned from it. And I know there are other processes which I would like to, in my world, I would tend to look of getting your unconscious mind to learn from those traumas. Because when you have the learnings, you don't need the emotion from that trauma. But hey-ho, we all have our different ways. But I really want to thank Tom for coming to us, asking to just give this little talk to us. And I want you to maybe think, if you wanted to, why don't you get that book? Flow Up. Get rid of anxiety, stress, and overwhelm, and unlock focus, creativity, and joy. And if you want to check out on Tom's website, I'm going to read it out to you because it's Tom, and then I'll read the rest of the letters, ASZDRYBALA.com. And you'll read all about him. Get in touch with him. Send him a little contact message saying, you love what you heard. And give him a cheer for, can you believe it, 25,000 miles. That's amazing. And on the picture on his bio, I just noticed he's sitting barefooted. And I think he would, because those feet are going to be really, really hot and sore, aren't they? I wish him well in all of that. Now that, if you think about it, is, to me anyway, reminds me of another core principle here at Personal Development Unplugged. It's that selfless service. Yeah, no, Tom's got a book, but he's spending 40 months really pushing to share with, he says right at his title, I'm on a mission to reach 1 billion people with my message. Well, that's selfless service, isn't it? Awesome. So pleased, so proud of him. And hopefully he'll let us know as he goes along where he is and what he's doing so we can keep an update of him. Check him out. So that's Tom. I'm going to really get this. Drybala. ASZDRYBALA. Tom to his friends. Anyway, I enjoyed that. And again, if you know of somebody, or you can think of somebody that we could approach and say, the way I do it, I just send it, would it fly? I send an email to 1 or 2 people, would it fly? Would you like to do that? And a lot of people are really busy. But if we just get the odd 1 or 2, it's great to have people, to me, confirm what we're doing. Confirm that we're on the right path. Because there are different minds, but they're like minds. Coming from different trainings, different learnings, different life experiences. And when we boil them all down and we model them, we find we're coming from the same place and we're headed towards the same place, which is good for you, good for the people around us, and good for little old planet Earth. There. Please do share this episode, if you would. Share it with everyone. Great to get Tom's name around to everyone. So please share it. If you want to send me an email, feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. If there's any issues or anything you like, I've got one coming up and I'll be doing an episode for that person, and it'll help everyone. So let me know if you want anything at all. Feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged. Share like hell and fly and have more fun than you can stand. Bye-bye now.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.